Hey everybody, Game House Podcast. You will notice that one, we are late, and two, we are missing a host. And if you are just joining us in the chat room, you will also notice that what the name of the show is. Nick sucks. Nick sucks. Nick's totally sucks right now. So remember last week we were doing the show and Nick was all about, I was talking about how October I'm not going to be here and trying to figure out what's going to happen. Well, even though Nick and I were talking that whole time about missing shows, guess what Nick forgot to tell me? That he was missing this week's show. So we are without a Nick. And it sucks because there's so much to talk about. And I really want to play Baldur's Gate. Oh my God, I'm hearing its perfection. And I think one of the reasons why everyone was so excited about Baldur's Gate, and is so surprised by Baldur's Gate is because no one was expecting it to be this good, and so everyone is just blown away. Like, if there's super high expectations, then people can only be disappointed. I think this was the opposite. People were totally, um, not expecting it to be this good, and it is so much better than they expected that they call it perfection. I guess IGN gave it the best rating it's ever given a game before. So I'm kind of excited to be playing it soon. Uh, hey, AC Wraith, you're here. I'm glad you're here because, yeah, Nick sucks. He didn't tell me that he wasn't gonna be here, even though we talked about it on the show last week. It was the last thing we talked about was me not being here. You just wanna make out make out with non-humans? Yeah, that too, but no, I wanna see what it's all about. It's my kind of see, Dark Souls, I I wanted to see what everybody was all about it, what everybody was, like, losing their minds over, but Dark Souls was not my kind of game. In fact, I knew I would hate it. Um, Baldur's Gate is exactly the opposite. It's exactly the kind of game I would love, and everyone's saying it's that good. So, hey, Chunder. Yeah, damn you, Nick. No kidding. Damn you. Hey, guess what? California has a hurricane hitting it right now. Can you believe it? I mean, not anywhere near where I am. I'm almost in it. I mean, the length of a continent away. We're like 650 miles from where it's hitting right now in San Diego and Los Angeles. Um, but I've got, I mean, it's sunny right now. It's muggy. Oh my God, it's muggy here compared to what we're normally used to. It is, it feels like Florida. And California doesn't feel like Florida. California is way drier. So, and then we're also expecting to get rain. We're also expecting to get possibly thunderstorms because the weather is weird, which means if we get thunderstorms, we're going to get fires. So, we've already got a couple fires going. Well, yeah. So, Elden Ring would be better for you than Dark Souls. I'm sorry, I was thinking Elden Ring. I was sorry, not Dark Souls, Elden Ring. I was thinking Elden Ring, but even so, Elden Ring wasn't my kind of game. Baldur's Gate is totally an ED game, so I cannot wait to get my hands on it. Uh, yeah, good point. It's better than feeling like Hawaii right now. Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God. The photographs of what's going on there. The photographs of Lahaina, absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. And I'm really afraid for Hawaii because I know what happened in California and especially Santa Rosa. Remember that whole coffee park thing in Santa Rosa when we had that fire in California? Um, is this going on 3, 4 years ago? Um, what happened was a lot of developers came in and took advantage of people who'd had their houses burned down and convinced them to sell their land dirt cheap. And I'm really afraid that that's what's gonna happen to places in Maui because there are people coming to especially, like, indigenous Hawaiians who have been there and had their houses and had their lands for generations, coming up to them and saying, "Hey, trust me, you're better off accepting my offer of cash so you can go start over somewhere else," and them taking it up. So this has the potential of not only changing it's definitely gonna change the architecture of Hawaii of Maui specifically, but I have a real concern that it's also going to change the culture of Maui, that's going to change the demographics of it as well. Certainly demographics of home ownership there. Yeah, the world is going nuts. Uh, remember, there's no such thing as climate change. Sorry. Sorry to get political on you, but yeah, I mean, when your politics is now intersecting with a hurricane hitting your state. I don't think it's the first time ever. I think the last time we had a hurricane was like more than 100 years ago, and Hawaii's never had fires like that. Hawaii is a tropical jungle. It doesn't get wildfires. But oh well. That was that was then Hawaii, not now Hawaii in this new landscape. So, yeah, I'm by myself and got I knew I wanted to talk to you about something, but I can't remember what it was. What did I want to talk to you about? Got a GoPro. Got a GoPro so that I can loan it to Nick to do his the cooking show. We're totally gonna do this. Probably won't be until like the holidays. I think that the Nick and Edie holiday cooking special kind of has possibilities. We'll make we'll make Nick do like first the we might make him do something easy. Slightly challenging, but sort of easy. Like we might make him make pasta. We'll make him make pasta. Make him make gnocchis. And then what could I do? We could make him make then we'll start in like the more difficult stuff. Like we'll make him make Christmas cookies. And then we'll make him make I don't know. We'll make him make the cinnamon rolls, those cinnamon rolls of yours, and then we'll make him make, bûche de Noël. That will make him crazy. Yeah, that's why I bought it. I bought it for the Bali trip, Chunder, specifically, and I bought it for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons. One, is Nick, obviously. But actually the bigger reason is that because I drive a scooter to work every day in San Francisco, I've had enough near misses that have not been my fault. Usually it is cars almost hitting me, which isn't I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, it is horrible. It's not good. But if a car hits a bike and the bike is in the bike lane, the car is at fault, and it is the car's job to defend itself for not being at fault. It's kinda like car hitting a pedestrian in a crosswalk. It's kinda game over. The pedestrian doesn't have to prove shit. Um, but there have been many, many, many near misses because I'm in San Francisco, because it is the summer and there's lots of travel, lots of tourists. And I go from the ferry building down the Embarcadero, which is, like where a lot of tourists are, um, that I have had tourists and even probably some locals just without even thinking, stepping into. I mean, we have bike lanes that are like bright green, 2 lanes. We're not fucking around. These are bike lanes. They are like huge and obvious. And tourists with their back to them, just like letting their kids just like play, like step off and off the curb in front of my bike. Had it happen numerous times. So and we actually just had a German tourist, I think it was, or maybe it was a New Zealand tourist who died because he got hit by a scooter because he stepped in front of the scooter. The scooter's going 18 to 20 miles an hour. Scooter hits you, you're going to die. And he was in a coma for a really long time and finally died. It made the news all over here. And it hit me that I want to have a GoPro on me when I am in San Francisco. Yes, part of it because if somebody hits me and like drives off, I want to have proof of it. But for if I hit a pedestrian, I want evidence that the pedestrian wasn't looking, stepped in front of me. I did everything I could to avoid him or her, and it was their fault. It was mostly their fault, if not entirely their fault. And they're actually owe me damages because they wrecked me and they wrecked my bike. So that's why I want it. Number one. So it's not just for Bali and it's not just for Nick. The Bali thing is like a super bonus. In fact, I'm really hoping because I paid up for one of them that does the streaming. I'm really hoping that if I have good enough internet there that I might be streaming from Bali to you guys because I really don't want to leave you guys alone for a month. Beyond the fact that I don't trust Nick. But I would miss you. I would miss you. Hey, we got Goalie in the chat room. And Forget Your Life says, how do you feel about the billions going to Ukraine compared to what's not going to Maui? That is a conversation that I will not get into. I have definite opinions about it, but I'm not going to share it because this isn't a politics show. Thanks, Coley. Great show because there's no Nick. Is that why you like it? You want to go to San Francisco just so you can dump on the street? What do you mean dump on the? You mean like take a dump on the street? Oh yeah, that happens. It happens. You know what? It happens more in San Francisco, but everybody's talking about how San Francisco is getting wrecked. It's just as bad or worse in every place in California, and it's way worse now than it ever has been because of the economy, not because of anything San Francisco did. And it's way worse now because there's so many more homeless that are in California, and so many actually more homeless in the whole United States that leave and come to California. There's also a situation specifically in San Francisco where other cities that are richer and whiter are they're finding homeless in their private estates, and they just drive them over the bridge and dump them into San Francisco. So there's a lot of homeless dumping. A lot of homeless dumping going on. A couple have been caught. And it's always just like, oh, one person got caught and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. This was a one-off. Yeah, no. No, there's a couple of counties in the Bay Area that have been homeless dumped on my neighborhood specifically. I have seen them homeless dump in my neighborhood. 15 years ago, they were homeless dumping. So it's a lot of different factors going on. But honestly, San Francisco's still awesome. San Francisco's still awesome. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Best thing about San Francisco right now is everybody saying how terrible San Francisco is. You know why? Because it's keeping all the rat bastard tourists out of the fucking bike lanes. That's what it's doing. But anyway. Um uh let's see. Everyone in San Francisco is a tourist. Not everyone. I'm not. I'm going to work. There's a lot of people still going to work. A lot of restaurants still open. We just had a bakery open up down the street from where I work, which is 1 block off of the financial district. So there's lots of restaurants opening. You're only hearing about the restaurants closing. Um, I asked for direction there once. I said, nobody asked live there. Yeah, well, you're probably in a tourist area. If you go to Pier 39, I can guarantee you the Pier 39 area, nobody lives there. Nobody in that whole area lives there. And most people on the Embarcadero don't live there. But a block away is a residential neighborhood where everybody lives there. Everybody does, or they work there. Let's hope I never need it. Yeah. That would be the best case scenario is I bought that thing and I run it every day and I never need to use it for anything. Reaper's attacking your Normandy. The GoPro is your chatbot reporter on the scene. Yes. Or sorry, Chobot. My Chobot reporter on the scene. Yeah, I'm not naming my GoPro Jessica Chobot. Fuck that. You would miss me? Oh, I would miss you when I go. You mean when I go away for a month? You would miss me? Oh. Do you wanna take over the show for a month, Gully? You and Nick? I mean, it without me, you could do whatever you want for a month. Whatever you want, anything short of turning it into an OnlyFans. And if you wanted to do that, it's not a lot I could do to stop you. Thank you for the plug to the Digital to Dice podcast. If you haven't been to it, Goli is a reformed video gamer that has gone tabletop and he has a podcast, especially the tabletop sports games. Really, really good. Portland has always been a poop zone. Hey, you want to know where I saw my very first pile of human excrement? And this is someone who went to high school in the San Francisco Bay Area, went to college in San Francisco. You want to know where I saw my first pile of human excrement just on the street? Paris. There's poop everywhere. Everybody poops. The book does not lie. They dumped immigrants here on Cape Cod, the rich area, and they were gone in 30 minutes, meaning that they were sent somewhere else. Yeah. Well, we have essentially the equivalent of Cape Cod that's just over the bay from where I live, and yeah, their sheriff's office. It's always very interesting when you see their county sheriff's cars over here at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night in my little neighborhood just off the bridge from their county. And they used to really love us because there was no bus that went from this side of the bridge to that side of the bridge. So once they drove them over here, they couldn't get back. That's what it came down to. They drove them over here, they dumped them here, and there was only one place to go, either stay here or keep moving into Oakland and San Francisco. Yeah, Goalie's OnlyFans. It's all hot tub. It's all from the hot tub. You know he'd do that too. Thank you for the link to Everyone Poops. I love you, AC Wraith. So let's see what else have I got going. The reason why I'm not wearing makeup and I look like ass, again, Last 2 times were other reasons. This time I can't wear any makeup because on Tuesday, I had my hepatitis A, look at my shoulder, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, and measles, mumps, rubella. And on this shoulder, I had polio and pneumonia. That was on Tuesday. On this Friday, yesterday, day before yesterday, I was supposed to get rabies and typhoid, but the rabies shot, he gave to me, but the typhoid, my right arm was like you could see like red marks from where they gave me the other 2, vaccinations earlier in the week, and the nurse was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna give that to you. You have to come back for another rabies anyway next week, so when you get rabies 2, I'll give you the typhoid then." So I've got rabies 2 to do. I've got typhoid, which is next both of those are next Friday. And then, a month from now, I've got Hep A2, and then I'm done. I've already got my anti-malaria pills that I'll be taking when I go there. I've got the Bali Belly, traveler's diarrhea, AKA Bali Belly, drugs. And, the reason why I'm not wearing makeup is that all of those, vaccinations all at once, I actually haven't gotten sick from anything, not even the polio or anything. I haven't gotten actually felt anything. But what happened is I tend to have really sensitive skin. My skin got so sensitive that I guess it was Thursday night. Let's see, I had my shots Tuesday or no, Tuesday. Wednesday night, I was washing my face and I put my normal night cream that I put on my face and I put my normal eye cream on, and all of a sudden my eyelids started burning. Just like I had put acid on them. So I had to wash everything off and I'm like, "Okay, I'm not gonna touch my face." So the next day I woke up and my eyelids were just covered in rash. So it's mostly, I think, just because my body is kind of like there's a lot going on. So we're just going to make your skin unbelievably sensitive. So I didn't wear makeup on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'm not wearing it again today. So hopefully that'll give my skin just a bunch of days of just it not like even me just touching my eyelid just now, I can feel like it's burning just from me actually putting my fingers on it. So that's why I'm not wearing makeup is I'm just putting nothing on my skin but water at this point. If he fills in for you, will he wear pants? Goalie. If you filled in for me for a month, would you wear pants? Would you do it from the hot tub? You could. I'd let you do it. I mean, it's not me. It's up to me. It's not like I could have to let you anything. Once you have the keys, you could drive the car wherever you want. Um, OnlyFans gets a butt fan perspective. Oh, yeah, the butt fan. Yeah. With all those jabs, it's surprising you haven't had a reaction to something. Yeah. I expected because I remember when I got the Moderna, not the Pfizer, but the Moderna vaccine knocked me on my ass. Oh my god, I was sick from that. And I'd had 2 Pfizers at that point, and I got the Moderna and got very significantly felt it. And when I've had flu vaccines, I tend to get a little sick from that. But these, nothing. Not hepatitis. I expect to get a little, like, not great from, typhoid. I'm fully expecting that I'm probably gonna be down next weekend, next Saturday, and maybe even feeling bad next Sunday from typhoid. Yay me. AC Wraith, I was fine with the initial Moderna, but one of the boosters knocked me out. Yeah, it's kind of funny that it's not always the first one that gets you. So I could be very sick next week from the rabies as well. Who knows? But yeah, that was really the only thing that happened with me is my eyelids and eyes got super duper 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 sensitive and for a day. I mean, my eyeballs were sensitive for a day, but my eyelids are still sensitive. It'll take a couple of weeks for those to go down because it feels like, like when I was a teenager and I would wash my face with something that wasn't hypoallergenic back when my skin was super sensitive when I was a kid. And I'd use, like, somebody else's face wash, and they're like, "Oh, it's really gentle," and you'd put it on, and it'd be like, "Oh, that burnt. That burns. That burns." And the moment you put it on, you realize you've made a really bad choice in your life. Um, what else have I got? I got nothing else. Wish you did. Wish you did, but I don't. Um, no other cool toys, no other cool news, nothing amazing happening. Obligatory Dolly Parton shout out. World on fire. Thank you. Um, yeah, I guess I can't think of anything. So I went back and I happened to look. I wanted to look and see what I looked like in the last year and a half, and see how I've physically changed because it's very interesting when you've been doing a podcast, especially a video podcast this long. You actually have video, photographic evidence, and also audio evidence of how your voice has changed and how you physically changed. And you can see it week to week to week to week to week. And I went back and I looked to see what I look like before my husband passed away and after my husband has passed away. The reason being, I don't know if any of you noticed this. Have you noticed anything different about me in the last year from a year ago? But what's in Bali? Yeah, what's in Bali is my brother was out there 25 years ago and made a friend out there, and we're going out. My brother and I are going out to visit that friend and to motorcycle across Bali because why the hell not? But have you guys noticed anything different about me? Something that's changed a bit other than just getting really, really gray? I had pink and purple hair. Yeah, that's true. It's been a while since I've had the pink. I haven't had pink hair in, let's see, I had pink hair in 2016 and 2017. I haven't had colored hair since 2017. So it's been a while. Gray, but thinner. I don't know if you've mentioned it, and I haven't mentioned it to you guys because I just kind of like, been keeping track of it on my own. From the time that Kevin died to now, I have lost 40 pounds. And I was stress eating so badly with Kevin. I was unbelievable stress eating. And so when after Kevin died and I went to the doctor and the doctor was like, didn't good. This is not good. So I looked at my numbers, I looked at my A1C, I looked at my glucose, I looked at my weight, and it was like, "Oh, okay, we need to not just make a well, actually, it was also immediately after Kevin died. I was, stress I wouldn't say stress eating, but just grief eating. Like, I would just make an entire, like, dozen muffins, mochi muffins, because I enjoy baking, and then I would eat an entire dozen, well, I probably couldn't do a dozen, but I would eat like 8 or 10 mochi muffins and then finish up the rest the next day, and then make more mochi muffins the next day after that, and that's all I was eating. I mean, I was just eating nothing but just crap, just sugar, just unmitigated amounts of sugar that I was eating, and so it's like, okay, I gotta stop that." So I have lost 40 pounds since last year. Yeah, little under a year. So, yeah, I'm kinda proud of that. And yes, it was work. It was a lot of effort. That also helped that I now have a job, so, uh, I can't just I'm not just in my house answering phones and making chocolate cake while I'm working, which is what I was doing when I was homebound, answering phones. I would go in the other room and make a chocolate cake, and then for dinner, I would have chocolate cake. So, because I'm now out of the house, in the office, and moving, and number 2 is that I'm making, like I can't I can't do that. Well, I don't feel the need to do it as much. It's better. I was gonna say, yeah, you look slimmer, but it is a touchy subject. It is okay to say that, and yes, I am very much slimmer than I've been in a while, not quite down to my high school weight, but I'm in throwing distance of my high school weight when I was a, cross country runner. I don't my goal is not to be my high school weight. That is unrealistic because I was cross country runner and track and field. I was very, very active. I was in 4-H. I was, active all the time. Um And also had the, uh, metabolism of a high school girl. Uh, that's not realistic, but I could certainly do with downside of it, it is exceptionally expensive because, um, I keep buying clothes, and by the time I actually get them and, like, well, I buy clothes, I order clothes email. I have a place I buy my jeans that I really love buying my jeans, and I keep ordering jeans, and they keep showing up, and they're too big, which is a terrible thing, but it's like I get maybe a month and a half of wear, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, these jeans are starting to, like, I need a belt." So I've got a lot of jeans that have not been worn very many times and spent, like, full price on them. AC Race, I've never not been over neither have I. I was running cross country, and I was running track, and I was doing, discus, javelin, and shot put. Um, yeah, and, everything else that I was doing. I was a cheerleader for a little while. Um, and I was never not like, I was at least 30 pounds heavier than everyone else on my team, but I was always just been a really and they wanna say, "You're big bones." No, it wasn't big bones. I'm just a sturdily built woman, always have been. Very, very sturdy. My father used to call them birthing hips, and it's like, "Yeah, dad, that's not okay. That's really inappropriate." Um, Way off from your high school weight, and even then I was overweight. Yeah. So was I. But, you know, slow, putting my mind to it, being conscious of it on a constant daily basis. And then so much so that you forget that you're actually doing it, and then you realize, "Oh my god, none of my clothes fit." That moment. And you're like, "Okay, I this is working," because you think it's not, and then it does. Um, God, I wish I had anything else to tell you. Sorry. Um, Next week we will be back. Next week. When is Baldur's Gate out? I forget. I mean, it's out for PC. Baldur's Gate 3 for the PS5. When does it come out for the PS5? Uh, when? That's the initial release date. When is it on the PS5? September 2nd. I'm really concerned about my trip for Bali because Baldur's Gate is gonna come available September 2nd. And I know what it's gonna do to me in the month of September, and I've got to prep for my my trip. I gotta, like, pack and organize and find things that I'm supposed to be able to take, like, things like I have no idea where my juice packs are for my camera and my battery, my battery juice packs for my phone and everything. I've gotta take those. I have no idea where they are. I think the last time that I used them with my astrophotography bag, trying to decide if do I wanna take what cameras do I wanna take? I really, 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 really wanna take my expensive camera, but I really, 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 really don't wanna take my expensive camera. I really wanna take my astrophotography kit, but I really don't wanna take my astrophotography kit because if something happened to it, it's irreplaceable to me. So, get it on PC. I mean, I guess I could, but because it's not cross-platform play, I wouldn't be able to play it with Nick. And Nick wants to play it on PC, on PS5 only. I kinda wanna play with Nick. I have not checked out the new guitar build yet. Let's just say I have my eye on something, and let me find out when that actually happens. It's coming up. I'm not showing you anything because it's gonna be a surprise if it happens. I don't wanna say anything because I don't want to jinx it. But I've got my eye on something and I will know next week. I will know next week whether we will be doing your guitar or whether we will be doing something else. To say that. Um so yeah, I guess I don't have anything else. Unless you guys have something you want me to answer. We'll treat it as an AMA. This is your AMA moment. Um what was I thinking about doing the other day? There's some kind of, like, fun thing that I thought that it's like, "Oh, that would be really cool to do with Gamehouse Crew." Like, all you guys. I can't exactly remember what it was, but I had a really cool idea for a fun activity. I was also thinking about a merch store, and I'm like, "Really? All 6 of you? Do you all wanna buy a T-shirt? How about a hoodie?" Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna go, and, we will talk to you next week, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, here on Twitch and on YouTube. I am going to I'm gonna play tonight. I'm going out to dinner with a friend. Not that kind of a friend. It's my very gay neighbor who he and I are gonna just go together and have a lovely dinner together. Um, and I'm going to wanna try and play something, but I don't know what. There's a couple of things I'm really interested in. Um, there was a game, I think it's called Vaudeville. That sounds sort of familiar. It's a game, I think it's called Vaudeville, and it is essentially a bit like LA Noire, where you're asking questions and trying to figure out a murder mystery, but it's, you actually ask it by asking questions, and it's, voice chat, and the replies come from an AI chatbot, from a chat GPT, essentially. And it's insane. It's insane. Hilarious. Audio is 12 a month, 12 episodes by wow, a whole quarter, 3 months. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll go put up some episodes. That's bad. It's really bad. Um, do I have more than one brother? Yeah, no, I only have one brother. It is the idiot brother I'm going with. Yeah, I do wanna ride cross country with the idiot brother. Yeah. I come from a very long line, very proud line of idiots. I've been surrounded by a lot of idiots in my life and learned to trust them. And actually, I trust him in that way. I trust him, you know, that way. There's a lot of things I wouldn't trust him with, but uh yeah, no, he one thing I know, he's got my back, and one thing he knows is I have his. And yeah, this is gonna be and it's actually really good for him because as the one, I was the older sister. I was the super, super, super smart one that went into all of the gifted classes and the huge personality that everybody in the school knew. Ian was the quieter one, the younger brother, quieter one. I was also super nerdy and super unpopular because I was super nerdy, but I was also unabashedly actually, I couldn't help but be super nerdy. It's just kind of who I am. And, um, and Ian was 2 years behind me, so he was always I don't wanna say in my shadow, it wasn't on a shadow, it was more like my reputation preceded him, and he was very different, and he struggled with all of the things I did well, and he also struggled with all of the things I didn't do well because and everybody knew who I am. Everybody knew I was weird. Everybody knew I was a drama geek. Everybody knew that I was super smart. Everybody knew that I was into like Shakespeare and, role playing and stuff like that. So when Ian came up and he was like, I just want to be a football player. I'm an average student. I'm a football player. I just want to hang out with my bros. And they're like, ooh, you're Edith's brother. So he suffered a lot from that. Um, so he's He's created his own kind of, like, universe that is separate from me, and the fact that I'm letting him show me his universe, I'm letting him lead. This is his trip that I'm going with him, and he's showing me around in a place where he's been and I haven't. This is kind of good for him because I'm a super forceful personality, and hasn't always flown well with my idiot brother. But I love him. He's great fun. We were actually not last weekend. I don't remember the show that I missed. I sent to you and from I did a live. I think I did a recording from a hillside in the middle of Contra Costa County, which is where I am, with my brother cutting down trees. So yeah, we work together. We're good friends. I wouldn't call him like we're not we're not besties. Let's just say that. But we're certainly good enough friends to be able to travel with. We'll probably get into a fight. That's kind of nice thing about family is that you can get into a fight as long as you don't cross, certain lines. You can get into a fight and know that you're going to be okay. You get into a fight with a husband or even certainly a girlfriend slash boyfriend, but when you get married, it's a little more. But even so, you can get into a fight that can break you up. Um, it's really hard to do that with family. You have to really put your mind to it. And so, we can get into a fight, and we've learned that when we hit that point where I've pissed him off and he's pissed me off, I just say, "So, how's the Giants? How's the wow, this is amazing weather we're having." And he knows that it's like, "All right, we need to change this subject because we're gonna get into a really big fight." So you kinda get to know each other really well that way. Siblings. Um, you cut trees, so apparently you trust it with sharp objects. Yes, I do trust it with sharp objects. Yeah. Oh, I absolutely trust him. I trust him more than I trust yeah, I trust him more than I trust anybody. Have to. He owns almost half of everything that I own, and I own almost half of it, and I do own half of everything he owns. So, yeah, he's an interesting guy. He's an interesting cat. All right, so I can't think of anything else to talk to you about. So we'll be back 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern next week. It'll be with Nick. We will talk about so much stuff. Oh my God. So, I mean, I've got this week I actually sent myself notes because now the news is starting to happen again because it was kind of like quieted down for a bit. I don't know why for 2 weeks there wasn't really a lot of news. Now there's a lot of news. So we will talk about it then. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for dropping by. And sorry we didn't have a show, but if you want to get a hold of me, you know where to find us, gamehounds.net. And obviously, be here next week at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, wherever you're watching us now, Twitch or YouTube. That's where we are. And that's Pacific time. See you later, everyone. Oh yeah, maybe game tonight. I'll put it in our Discord. Oh, by the way, let me put up here our Discord. If you're not on our Discord, you should be on our Discord because theoretically, when we do cancel shows, and like if I'm not going to be on at all, I will announce it and Nick is supposed to also announce it in the Discord, but he didn't. But also if I ever go live with with like a game, like there's been a number of times when I thought of going live and it's like, I didn't really, I know people aren't in the Discord. If people are in the Discord, if I see people that like have their Discord channel up and running, I will go live with a game instead of just playing it on my own. So yeah, please join our Discord. We would love to have you there. And yeah, thank you for the Patreon. Thank you to the patrons in our chat right now. I know there's at least several of you, not the least of being Chunderbox. I know that you are one of our patrons. AC Wraith, I think you might be. If not, you just get extra credit points because you do all of the links. You're our link bitch. But also, Forget Your Life. I don't know if you are because I don't know everybody's screen name versus their real name. But thank you for being here. And to the patrons, thank you for being a patron. If you would like to be a patron, please feel free to do so. $1 a month is all we ask to help offset some of the costs of this. So you can go down there. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, on Twitch, you need to hit that subscribe button. You need to hit that like button. It really makes really, really makes a difference. And we would like to grow this channel. We've only been around for 15 years and kind of just us chickens talking in the coop. We'd like to kind of expand the coop and, meet some more people and have people come in. So please hit the like button right now. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And if you are a Twitch watcher and you are also an Amazon Prime member and you have not spent your free subscription, because you get one free subscription to a Twitch channel on Amazon Prime, meaning if you haven't used it, you don't have to pay anything. You just have to use the free one off of your Prime. Amazon sends me the money. You don't have to pay for it. It would really, really make a difference. So if you haven't used yours, please use it here. Or if not us, use it for somebody else. But don't waste that money. That's Amazon's money that they're getting to keep that you should be using. All right, everyone. Have a good week. We'll take care. If anybody is in Southern California right now, please, please, please batten down the hatches and take care of yourselves. And yes, we do love AC Rice work. He is the hardest working game hound. All right, everyone. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Bye.